Medieval law was not like modern law at all. There were no lawyers or courts. Instead, the king would simply appoint judges who would travel around the kingdom making rulings from the comfort of their horse. Their method of delivering justice was a little different as well. You could be put to death for almost anything, and the punishment often involved horrible torture. Here are a few of the worst ways that medieval judges delivered justice. Crushed to death by a medieval judge. The year was 1478, when a young woman named Margaret Clitheroe went to see the judge. She had been accused of cursing a local lord, and she knew that she might be in trouble. Back in 1469, someone had accused her of using witchcraft to place a curse on Sir Ralph Egerton. He had become paralyzed from the waist down after being thrown from a horse, and he blamed Margaret. While there was no hard evidence to support this claim, it was enough for the judge to find her guilty. In order to prove her innocence, Margaret volunteered to allow the judge to perform some tests on her. The first test involved placing her in a barrel full of flour and water, and then rolling her around until she was completely covered in flour. If she was innocent, the flour would wash away easily, proving she wasn't covered in the devil's excrement. But unfortunately for Margaret, the flour stuck to her like glue. She failed the test and was found guilty. Instead of just sentencing her to prison, the judge wanted to make an example out of her. The next day, Margaret was led out into the town square and tied to a cart. The people of the town dragged her through the streets while she screamed bloody murder. They eventually brought her to the market cross where they left her to die. And this was only the beginning. After leaving her for a few hours, the townspeople came back with Margaret and used a large mortar and pestle to crush her bones. As they ground her up, they sang songs and danced around her until she was nothing but a pile of gooey flesh. This would have been bad enough, but they didn't stop there. In 1485, a man named Thomasine Reid Bude was accused of committing a robbery in Stick. He was quickly arrested and taken before the judge. Now, the thing is, back in those days, judges were allowed to use any means necessary to get a confession out of a suspect. If they thought the accused was guilty, they could torture them however they wanted. And this judge really wanted to break Thomasine. He tied Thomasine up and threw him into the river, making sure that his hands and feet were tied together. He let him stay in there long enough to dehydrate, but not long enough to drown. When he pulled Thomasine out of the river, his skin was wrinkled and sagging off his bones. That's probably why he confessed, shortly afterwards, broken by a wheel. There were several different types of wheels used to punish people in the Middle Ages. One type of wheel was used for breaking bones. The victim was tied to the wheel, and then the judge or executioner would start to break each one of their bones. Sometimes they would take their time and break each bone individually. Other times they would simply roll the victim across the wheel, which would break every bone in their body in a matter of seconds. Another type of wheel was used to make an example out of people. The victim was placed between two boards with holes cut out for their arms and legs. Then the executioner would drive wooden pegs through the holes, securing the victim to the board. The executioner would then chop off the victim's head or cut their limbs off, all while they were still alive. Now you know how people got their just desserts in the Middle Ages. Which of these punishments was the most horrifying? Let us know your thoughts, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these.